Welcome to our channel. I'm Kelly.
I'm Rich.
And we are Wanderbus Adventures.
So last week we left you and we just refitted this windscreen. This week we're going to be bolting a few bits and bobs back on, and we have found even more rust that we do fix in this episode. So hope you enjoy. Leave your comments down below. First things first, I need to reinstall my wiper blades. Just popped on the first wiper, replaced the nut with some stainless ones so they don't rust. Just an M8 that needs to go on here, nothing special. Pop the other one back on, see if they work. So our wipers come in off of these and then they're attached up here. One of the things that has happened is these are brittle and they're broken, but I'm not going to replace them for now because from Mercedes they're like 45 quid each. But anyone watching, if you've got one, a wiper arm that you want to depart with, let us know. And yes, we have triumphed with the front screen, but alas, we have found a very rusty back end that we are going to fix right now. We also found some really choice wiring behind these lights that, you know, it's a little bit barbaric. And yeah, this is the full extent of what needs to be repaired. Classic thing on a Mercedes Vario for these back corners to rot out. Been working today, but Luke's been out here grinding away on the back of our bus. And this is it. These flares that are along the bottom, because we're going to be doing a special project that we'll reveal in a future video. It's going to come all under here. Pulled this back out because that was very bent, if you remember. And then he's cut out these to take away to go and make those in his workshop, because he's got you know, all of the gear to fold it all up. This I'll be chopping all out and making look a lot better than that. And I will not be using chocolate blocks. This corner was a problem area, but it isn't anymore because it's not here. But yeah, basically it all does need replacing. The coach company had basically just stuck a piece of metal over this with some mastic to just get it through its MOT. But we're not going to be doing any of that. So this will be cut out as well and replaced. Appears to be a nice piece of fiberglass there. But yeah, that's the progress for today. Like I said, these flares are coming off. The fog lights are going to wire back into the main lights, and we might also, well, we might not do that. I might run it down to the new special project. I don't know yet, but watch this space. So we bought these LED lights to replace our broken ones that were all battered, and I'm just going to wire them up to some of the existing wiring that's here using Wago, so I can just tell what's what and mark it all up, because the rat's nest that's in here I would like to try and get rid of. Really, this side's actually better than this side where you've got multiple strands joined together, really all doing the same thing. So I want to take it back to as close to that connector as I can, but the first step for that is to just ratify what all of these wires do, and I'm going to hook them up. These little guys are known as Wago connectors or lever connectors, and they basically work by, you open this little lever here and it opens the connector inside. You put the wire in, close it up, and it holds it tight, and then that will allow you, this particular one, obviously I don't need 3 terminals, but this particular one will allow you to splice 3 wires together basically. I'm going to use them just for this temporarily to see what's what before we crimp them up, but it is useful for that sort of a thing. Got the tip from Max, actually, from Max and Sophie, so yeah, thanks for that, Maxie boy. Ooh. Joe, right? They work though.
So you're back with me again. It's a beautiful sunny day in June. Bloody hot though. And progress has been made rebuilding this side. So I made a lot of these panels up in my workshop with the folder and guillotine. So yeah, this corner's now back in and nice and strong. So just the light panel itself to do. We've cable tied. We've got some nice pop rivet mounts that Rich has given me to cable tie the loom out the way under here. And all of this inside here has been sprayed with copper weld primer to stop it rusting hopefully and preserve it for the future. And then to go over the top, got this panel here that I've made. So got some plug weld holes, a hole there for the light, and then a 38mm hole for the wiring loom. So I'm going to crack on getting this fitted. So just tacking this piece in here. It's going relatively well. Just a couple of little things to point out really for you guys, any of you that are doing this or want to do any welding. Ideally, that's a bit too big on a gap. It's not the end of the world, I can weld that up, but it's just to see, you know, I'm only human, I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes, but at the end of the day, that's not the end of the world. You can see the plug welds here, look. Obviously making sure that you're very careful when you're drilling these, so you drill them in the right place, otherwise you've got to fill them back up. It's never a good thing. And then at the top here, obviously you want this nice and tight, so what I tend to do is get a hammer, the end of a hammer or a flat base screwdriver, and push it right up to the point where it's nice and tight, and then obviously plug weld it in. Whenever you're plug welding anything like this one as well, what people make a mistake is they start in one corner, sort of work their way across, and what ends up happening is it fits great sort of here, but by the time you get to here it's miles out, and that's where you may see gaps sort of appear like this. This happened because I just trimmed a little bit too much off. The other thing you may get is the gaps that are too tight. So if you have a look here, it's only minute. You can see there's a burr on there. Well, what that means is it's slightly overlapped and it won't grind back flush. So again, little tip for you. If you get that, get your angle grinder with a thin cutting disc, and if you come in and cut on an angle like this, so not flat like that, but actually on an angle like this, and just slice along it like that, what it means is your gap between the two pieces of metal is much smaller. You get rid of any sort of spurs, and it means you get a really, really nice sort of flush fit. Just ran a grinder in at an angle on this one, so just to show you, you can see that it's no longer overlapping. It's actually a really, really nice, very, very tight fit. So yeah, just little hints and tricks for then any of you that are actually welding.
Okay, so this is one side repaired. I'm just going to slap some super zinc over it, which is like red oxide but very high zinc content, just to protect it because the rain's coming in. I've managed to get out and given a second coat of this rust encapsulator on here, so for the week if it rains on this, that's absolutely fine because this is non-porous, it doesn't absorb water unlike normal primer, so I can leave this out in the rain. I'm not going to plan to do it for that long and know that it won't re-rust, which is ideal. And then we can hopefully paint this up. I'm going to be painting it in tinted Upol Raptor. I can show you that too. Now the screen's back in, we really need to get all of this rust and crud off the bus. So I'm going to do that now before we then put the pillars back on the sides and paint the top back in Raptor so it's all one uniform colour and textured. We've used this stuff before, it's basically iron out remover. Now bear in mind, our bonnet was never on the bus when it was being grinded. We took it off and put it over here in this bush, so I'm gonna need to clean this car as well. That's how much fallout's coming off. So for the moment, we're just focusing on cleaning the front off because that's where it's worse, but we need to clean the entire bus really, because this will be all over it. Remember, we had the tarp over the top to keep the worst of it off of that roof, so hopefully that would have done its job. It did require a second pass, and we washed it down with loads of water, and we got all of the fallout off of the entire bus. And then Kelly went about manually removing the rest of the fallout from the bonnet. So Lily's recording. I'm going to take this sign off. So I'm using a Stanley knife blade on this to get this off, and then afterwards we'll get the stickies off with the scrub daddy and a little bit of solvent if needed. See this peeling off okay, this one. We got the outside one off exactly the same way, didn't we, Lil?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Do you remember when me and Mummy peeled off the blue sticker off the bus?
Where was that? Which part of the bus was that on?
It was a vein kind of cake.
Oh, on the outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the second day we had it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, right? You did a good job with that. It's all clean. That's taken a lot longer than what we thought, but that was bogging. The whole roof was covered in fallout, so it was rusty, which we wanted to get rid of. We need to clean it. We're gonna have to do it again, actually, probably in the next week or two. So we're trying to loop in some help because it takes so long. We've taken the sticker off, hurrah. I have cleaned that with panel wipe, with a razor blade. I have gone over it with glass cleaner, and it still won't come out. So I'm going to be searching the interwebs for a trick to get the sticker off there. It's not residue, so I don't know if it's like etched into the glass or what, I don't know. But yeah, any tips on that, let me know. Okay, so I'm going to put the light back in now. Now, from memory, I think you need to put the headlight in first. That's better, more like it. It's held in with 1, 2, 3 screws and a little bolt there. There. On the back here you've got these little thumb screws you undo. I think that's the technical term, I don't know. A little knurled bits that you tighten by hand. Now you just tighten it up, see it into place, and then so we're all in here. These are the little thumb screws I told you about. Down in there, you probably just make out the little hook that hooks on. And here's the loom where it all plugs into. So I'm just going to re-secure all of these wires in here with this little captive clip, and then away we go. Hopefully, because I can't test it at the moment because my batteries have died. Now, we also tested the wipers and have a teachable moment for you and for us. This is the they work. They clean the whole screen when they stop halfway up. The girls are there not paying any attention. That is my mistake. The reason for that is, do you remember doing this little dance last week? Well, that was us testing that they were parked properly before we reinstalled it. And I think because the battery was dead, that wasn't in fact parked. So it's fixable. So what we have to do, it's a bit annoying, but what we're gonna have to do is take the scuttle panel off now that the screen's in, take the linkage off, repark the motor, and then put the linkage back on, and that should fix it. You're probably thinking, I'll just change where the wipers are. If you change where the wipers are, because of that motion that I so eloquently just showed you, actually hits the scuttle panel, which is not ideal. So we'll fix that in a future video, but if you're doing the same thing, make sure you reset make sure your batteries are charged and that the motor is reset before you put the linkage back on, and then you won't have the same problem as us.
Learn from our mistake, guys.
Yeah, this is not rust. This is like rusty water from when we washed the roof off. So it doesn't look very nice, but trust me, it's not rust. It's where we decontaminated the roof. I'm just gonna seal these edges up though.
Like icing a cake.
This is a lot like Flex, but it's like half the price. It's fully weather resistant and actually over paintable, but you know, on this occasion it doesn't matter because you won't see this in here anyway. This stuff's also over paintable, so we're just going to fill this seam up so it can go off, just to stop any water getting in there. And then once it's dry in a few days time, we can paint over it. I want it to overlap it a little bit because I want it to see it.
That was only just like flying onto the roof.
Just to explain, our Vario is a converted van slash minibus, and this front panel is fiberglass, and where it meets the A-pillar there's a big trough that we needed to seal. So I'm going to fill this trough and then scrape it over.
So like similar to what is like here, because it's the same kind of DD bop. We are using tinted Upol Raptor, which is the same thing that we have used on our roof. And I know it's Raptor because it's got the Raptor cord on it.
I'm just about to mix it up and start the front while Cal prepares the back. These little rollers here, they give the texture of the, you know, if you sprayed the Raptor, it's like what we've got on our roof. Now at the front, I've sanded it smooth, so I'm gonna basically put a coat of this on first on the smooth bit and then go over the whole thing with a second coat. Hopefully we will then be able to blend it in. I'll show you that afterwards to see if it's worked.
The bit on the bus that we've got is smooth, so we're just doing that bit textured with first coat, and then for the second coat we'll go over the whole front because that should hopefully blend it in more as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the bottom bit nearest this very screen edge to match the rest of it, and then we'll go over the whole lot. Can you see there that it's dry now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're going over it creates the same texture as the rest of the roof, is the hope. And when we go over the second coat, which you can after 60 minutes, because it's got a 60-minute flash time, go over the whole front of the roof with just a normal coat without doing this. Just painting under here, I found something. Archaeological find, you say? But no, I found a pair of marbles. Hang on a minute. Some might say that he might be a little bit OCD because on the other side, there's another pair. Don't worry, Luke. I'll return to you. That's the front all blended in. Really happy with how that's turned out. And this is the back all painted. So we're really happy with how it's turned out. Obviously it's night and day to what it was. So yeah, all done.
Please give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment if you want to. That would really help us out. So see you soon.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.
Bye.